Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, y'all. Shout out to us. Happy Monday, everyone. Give me one moment while I get everything together. Come on in, come on in. As always, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to Dear Me, I Am Me. I am beyond grateful to have each and every last one of you guys here tonight. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, y'all. Y'all, I'm just so grateful to just be here, okay? Beyond grateful to just be here. Shout out to everybody for coming in and for tuning in to Dear Me, I Am Me tonight. Y'all, we are in here on a Monday. You know what I'm saying? Y'all I'm just so grateful, just so grateful. Thank you for coming in into tonight's live workshop. I am Tysheona. If you guys don't know who I am Tysheona. Give me 1 second, you guys. Excuse me. I had to pick up something that I forgot, but I am Tysheona. I created Dear Me, I Am Me, a space where real conversation, real reflection, and growth happen. We are here to share honest moments, journaling, of course, holistic wellness, guidance, and personal development to help you reconnect with yourself, build self awareness, and also, y'all already know how we do protect our peace. That is number one. Okay. We are protecting our peace, not just in this season, but that is who we are evolving into, right? Is protecting our peace and just being more positive. Girl, hold on. I just realized that I forgot my earrings, y'all. And you know what? I'm not even finna get ready and get up. I'm just finna get ready to go naked with the earrings tonight. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, hold on, something is a little different. Your girl don't forgot her earrings. But y'all, let me tell you something. I've been up since 4 a.m. Gave my heavenly Father, my God, of course, word at first. You know what I'm saying? Then we had to hit that 9 to 5. Then we had to come home. We are here. We are showing up tonight, y'all. And I ain't making no excuses, but I'm recognizing I am a little bear. But anyways, shout out to us for, like I said, just showing up tonight, y'all. Listen, so this isn't about perfection, right? Tonight is not about perfection, right? It's about being real with where you are and where we are growing from today, okay? So like I said, I want to say thank you guys for showing up to Dear Me, I Am Me. And before we get started, let's go ahead and drop some mirrors in the chat. Let's go ahead and drop some mirrors in the chat. So I know that y'all are in here tonight, okay? Let's go ahead and drop some mirrors in the chat tonight, y'all. Drop some mirrors so I know that y'all are in here tonight. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So I know that y'all are in here tonight. Let's get some mirrors in the chat, y'all. Let's get some mirrors in the chat. Shout out to everyone for being here tonight. If this is your first time in this space, girl, let me tell you something, sis. I'm so happy that you are here tonight out of all nights, okay? And sis, let me tell you something. Have you ever, have you ever known exactly what you needed to do? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever known exactly what you needed to do, okay, and still didn't do it? Child, let me tell you something. Not because you didn't know, right? Not because nobody told you, right? Not because you wasn't aware of the information because it wasn't available to you, sis, right? Like you knew you needed to reset, right? You knew you needed to set the boundary. Y'all always know we always talking about that boundary, right? Because we are developing that every single day. Because somebody be trying to like step over on that boundary, right? So not only because you know you needed to set the boundary right, not because you knew you wasn't supposed to pick up that phone and text that person back, right? Not because you knew, sis, that it was time for you to start that business, right? But also because you needed to apply, right? You needed to put some action right behind what you was doing, right? You knew you needed to leave, sis. Let me tell you something. There has been so many relationships where I was like, you know what? I should have bounced out that relationship a little sooner than than when I decided to bounce out the relationship, right? Like you knew, sis, you knew. Like I said, we are just being honest tonight, right? And somehow, let me tell y'all something. Somehow we stayed exactly where we are, right? Even though we knew, right? Like our intuition knew. Like women, we know. We know, women know, we have that intuition where either something is going right or something is going wrong. Put some mirrors in the chat. Like, you know when something is going right. You know when something is going wrong. You know when you be having that feeling like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like put some mirrors in the chat because I know everyone can relate on a feeling where you knew, right? Because I know I can. Right. And sometimes you can be a little delusional, sometimes you can be what's the word? You can be a little I can't think of it right now. You could be a little, I want to say, like indecisive, but you knew, sis, like you knew, you know what I'm saying? And for the longest time, sometimes, you think that something is wrong with you, right? And sometimes you may think that, you're not disciplined enough, right? And sometimes you may feel as though, like, like whatever was going on, it wasn't enough, right? But, what I have learned in this is that, most people most people aren't stuck because they didn't know better, right? They stuck because there's a gap between knowing and doing. Okay? I'm gonna say that again. They're stuck because there's a gap between knowing and doing. Okay. And tonight, sis, we are talking about that gap. Okay. We ain't wasting no time tonight. Okay. We are talking about the gap. Okay, sis. All right. So for tonight, grab your journals, grab that Dear Me worksheet. I already put the link up in the chat. Okay. Shout out to the chat. Okay. And also go ahead and share this out with a family and a friend member who you know that will love to be included in tonight's live. Or go ahead and share this out with them if you are watching the replay. Okay. Go ahead and grab that Dear Me worksheet. Grab your tea, sis, get comfortable, and let's talk, okay? Let's talk. So before we actually start talking, I want to welcome everybody in. Shout out to everyone tonight. Shout out, sis, where you guys are coming in from. Let your girl know where you guys are coming in from. Let your girl know. Where are you guys coming in from? We are in Atlanta tonight, y'all. We are in Atlanta chopping it up with y'all. And also, while you guys are letting us know where you guys are coming in at from, um, what season are you currently in? Are you in a healing? Are you in a rebuilding? Are you in a growing? Are you in a discovery? Okay, go ahead, put that down as well. What season are you in? Are you in a healing, rebuilding, growing, or discovering? Or is it all four? Is it all four? Let me tell y'all something. I think that I'm in a season of growing, a season of I'm gonna say I'm gonna say I'm in a season of growing. I'm in a season of rebuilding. And I'm in this season of discovering, right? And like I said, when I say discovering, it's because like I told you guys before, like your girl done cut off all her locks and stuff, right? So I am rediscovering myself, this new identity of who Tashiana is. You know what I'm saying? So I am in a growing and discovering and rebuilding season. You know what I'm saying? Like I went through every day, I feel as though like we are always constantly healing, right? Because there are not only like wounds that we have to heal and stuff, but as you grow along your own personal journey, you start to you start to learn new things about yourself, right? Things that you will no longer deal with, right? And things that you will no longer put up with, right? So, of course, there's like a healing journey. I feel as though like healing never stops, right? You are constantly learning new things over and over and over. It's never just about the mind, right? Like for a long time, I was asking God just to heal my mind, right? But I have forgot something. I also needed to heal my heart as well. You know what I'm saying? So constantly I'm asking for making my heart a little lighter, right? To not carry heavy weight, right? And to attract love, unity, right? So not just about peace and clarity, but also about the heart as well, because we need that to heal as well, right? So write one word that describes what you hope to gain from tonight's conversation, y'all. Write one word. Give us one word that describe what you hope to gain from tonight's conversation. Okay, so I want to take a little moment for you guys can settle on in, and you guys can get that on in. Y'all, I have my Dear Me journal worksheet tonight too. Listen, I'm not playing with y'all tonight. I have mine too. So I'm gonna be writing just like right along with y'all. We writing together tonight, okay? Yes, 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 yes. Thank you guys for coming on in to Dear Me, I Am Me. Like I said, go ahead and share this with the next individual who you know need a little sister time tonight, y'all. Go ahead. Go ahead. Share this out. Share this out. Like I said, the link is already in the chat. All right. So before we get into tonight's live, y'all, before we get into tonight's conversation, I want y'all to pause. I want y'all to take a moment. All right. Go ahead, remove all the distractions. Get comfortable. As y'all already know, or if this is your first time, we like to check in with ourselves, right? So go ahead and check in with yourself, sis. How are we really doing tonight mentally? How are we doing? And I want you guys to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Rate your scale on a 1 to 10 of how you feel. I'm going to go ahead and put mine in the chat of how I'm feeling tonight. I am a How we feeling tonight, y'all? Y'all, I am an 8.5 tonight, okay? I have an 8.5 tonight. Y'all, let me tell you something. I was ready for Dear Me tonight, y'all. I was ready for Dear Me, I Am Me tonight. Like all day, I was like, I cannot wait to have this conversation. And like, can y'all believe like 9 episodes ago, your girl was shy to get on the live. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't doing this no more. Listen, that old me, listen, she out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like we are here now. Like I said, it's about evolving, right? It's about pushing ourselves and putting that action, right? And doing the work. That's what it's about, right? So go ahead and rate yourself, put yourself on the scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Go ahead and drop your numbers in the chat if you are feeling comfortable. Put the numbers in the chat, y'all. Put the numbers in the chat. And if you are a Dear Me, I Am Me member, go ahead and put your numbers in our private chat as well. Okay. I want to say thank you guys for also showing up, y'all. I'm so y'all, we got our Dear Me, I Am Me members up in here. Yes, y'all. Shout out to y'all. And also, like I said, I'm gonna have the replay going on for y'all as well, you know. So when you are rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to actually think about it. Okay. I want you to actually think about how you are feeling. Don't just throw a number up there. Okay. We're not doing that. All right. Listen, because it's about being honest, right? If you can't be honest with how you're honestly feeling, then we have more work to do. Yes, we have more work to do. Okay. And like I said, just gonna be honest on here, okay? All right. Thank you for coming on in. Um, and let's put down the distractions. I want you guys to give yourself a moment to fully be present tonight, okay? Fully be present. Like I said, most of us have had a long day. We have had a long day. One thing that I have learned is that you never know what the other person is going through. And because a lot of us, we hold a lot of things in. And like I said, like we wear the cape all the time, right? And sometimes we have to just remove that cape and we just have to just release, right? So give yourself permission, at least tonight, to be fully present, right? And not for who you've been today, right? Not for who others expect you to be, all right? But for who you are becoming, right? For the person that you don't even know yet, right? Because, like I said, tonight is not about perfection, it's about becoming curious about yourself. All right. It's about progress, right? It's about letting us explore compassion a little bit more, right? And not with criticism. All right. So before we get into today's live, all right, y'all already know I have to read the Dear Me, I Am Me disclaimer. All right. So the Dear Me, I Am Me program is designed to encourage self-reflection, personal awareness, and emotional growth through guided journaling and intentional conversation. This program is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. The information, prompts, and discussions shared with the Dear Me, I Am Me program are not intended to replace professional, medical, legal, or financial advice. Okay. Participation in this program does not establish a therapeutic or clinical relationship. Okay. While many participants find journaling and self reflection supportive in their personal growth journey, individuals' experiences may vary. If you are currently experiencing severe emotional distress, mental health challenges, or require professional support, we strongly encourage you to seek guidance from a licensed therapist, counselor, or qualified health care provider. Okay. By participating in the Dear Me, I Am Me program, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own well being, choices, and personal development throughout the Dear Me, I Am Me program experiences. So, the Dear Me, I Am Me program and its creator aims to provide a supportive and empowering environment, but results, breakthroughs, and outcomes will be different from each individual. So, as we always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Remember what you are carrying, you do not have to carry it alone tonight. And most importantly, be gentle with yourself. So take a deep breath and release. Yes, 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 yes. And release. Yes. Shout out to everyone tonight. Hold on, you guys. Give me one moment, okay? All right, y'all. All right, y'all. My bad. My bad. All right, y'all. So y'all ready? Listen, y'all ready? I am ready, y'all. I am so ready for this tonight, honey. Let me tell you something. I am so ready to get into tonight's live, okay? So, like I said before, you guys, tonight is tonight is about give me one second. I misplaced something, y'all. Hold on. Because I wanna make sure like I'm like really telling you I work hard on this tonight. So I don't know exactly. I don't know. We just gonna keep the thing pushing, honey. Okay. But like I said, tonight is about the gap between knowing and also doing. Okay. The gap between knowing and also doing, right? So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that we're lazy. Right? I hear it all the time. I am lazy, right? I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that we are lazy, right? That is something that sometimes we tell ourselves, right? I need more discipline, right? I need to get it together, right? I need to try harder, right? But what if that's not the real issue? Okay, what if that's not the real issue? Sometimes the problem isn't laziness, okay? Sometimes it's fear, right? Sometimes it's fear of failing, right? Sometimes it's fear of succeeding, right? Sometimes it's fear of being seen, right? Sometimes it's fear of outgrowing people, right? Sometimes it's fear of challenging your identity, right? Sometimes it's fear of taking action, right? Remember, I said um action fear without action is dead, right? That is something that I always have to plug into my mind, right? Because change sounds exciting until it starts requiring something different from us, right? Because growth costs comfort, right? And comfort is hard to leave. It's a prime example is comfort is you being on your couch 24/7 and you don't want to leave your couch. That is a prime example. Comfort is hard to leave, right? Sometimes we're not stuck because we don't know, sis. Okay. Sometimes we're stuck because doing something different feels uncomfortable, right? And it opens up room for us to be vulnerable. Okay. It opened up rooms for us to be vulnerable, right? So, y'all, quick story, real quick. Hold on. Let me drink some water, real quick. Well, y'all, quick story, quick story. All right. So, me and my partner, right, we woke up one morning and we said, you know what? We wanted to go to this cafe, right? And we went up to this little cafe, like right up the street from our house. It's sitting on a lake, and I'm sitting there reading a book, Present Over Perfect. Right? Let me see. Um, this book. I'm reading Present Over. Can y'all see it? Present Over Perfect. This book right here. We actually was reading this book in the book club last year. This is one of the books that we read, and it was requested by one of the members inside the Dear Me I Am Me program, right? So I was reading that book while we were sitting like at the lake and having like our latte and like a sandwich and stuff or whatever. I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday, one of them days. Anyways, sis, anyways, girl, I'm sitting at the lake and this guy was sitting right next to me and he asked me like what I was reading and stuff. And I told him, like this is what, the book club was reading and Present Over Perfect. And I said, you know what, this book is so good because I feel as though like Shauna was talking to me. That's the author name, y'all. Her name is Shauna. I felt like she was talking to me, like she was getting on my butt, right? And he was like, you know what, that is a good book. And he recommends to start reading Daring Greatly, right, by Brene Brown. I'm gonna show y'all this book. This book, right? He recommends us to read this book, right? So this is a book that I'm actually currently like reading right now. And let me tell y'all something. Brene Brown, let me tell y'all, this book is so good. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and speak this into existence. I can't wait to hear her speak in person. Okay. Maybe that's gonna be something that Dear Me, I Me program we would do. We would go to like one of her events or something, right? But she in this book, she speaks on vulnerability, right? And how the courage to be vulnerable transfer your outlook on life, right? Let me tell y'all something. I highly recommend reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Read at least a chapter a day. I know all of us have busy schedules and all, but let me tell y'all something. Vulnerability is one thing that a lot of us do not like to show. We like to be like tough all the time. Like I said, we like to have that cape on all the time, right? But let me tell you something, like sometimes you have to just take the cape off, right? And this book gives you so many questions and tasks, and I just feel as though it's just like another woman sitting down talking to me and she's just being real with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I highly recommend reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I'm gonna show y'all this book one more time. Read this book, y'all. It is so good. All right. Which leads me to, give me one second, y'all. I can get this mic together. Which leads me to, what's one thing you know you need to do, but you keep avoiding? Okay. What's one thing, y'all already got your journals out, right? So, what's one thing you need to do, but you keep avoiding? Let's go ahead and put that in the chat. What's one thing that you've been avoiding, sis, that you know for a fact it needs to get done? All right. Remember we talked about that A, B, and that C. What's one thing that you know you need to do, but you keep avoiding, right? And then as you ask yourself this question, also ask yourself, why do you think you keep avoiding it? Why do you think you keep avoiding it, right? Right? And if I'm being honest, right? Also write down what's the thing that you are most afraid of when it comes to you avoiding what needs to be changed. Ask yourself that. Listen, we are going to be asking some tough questions. We are going to be asking some tough questions because like I said, a lot of times we just don't want to be vulnerable. We want to be so tough all the time, but how do you expect yourself to evolve if you just tough all the time? Like you have to be vulnerable at some point. You have to be willing to let go at some point, right? At some point, right? You have to be, right? So here's the tricky thing about comfort zones. Here's the tricky part. They rarely feel dangerous. They rarely feel dangerous. They feel familiar. They feel familiar. Put some mirrors in the chat if you feel me with that. Put some mirrors in the chat, y'all. Put some mirrors in the chat. They rarely feel dangerous. They feel familiar. Okay? They feel familiar, okay? And that's why people stay connected to versions of themselves that they have already outgrown, right? See, they stay connected to habits that no longer serve them, right? Mindsets that keep them small, right? Because familiar feels safe. Remember, we was talking about that couch. You're safe in that couch, right? That couch is familiar to you, right? Right? And even when you're familiar, makes you feel unhappy, right? Right? See, one thing that I have learned is that growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sometimes the next level feels awkward. Sometimes the next level causes anxiety. And sometimes when you be having that anxiety, you be feeling as if like you're doing the wrong thing. But you know what's one thing that I have learned when it comes to the anxiety? I give it to God. I give my anxiety to God. I pray to Him about whatever I am worried about. Okay. Okay. Because sometimes anxiety is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's mean that you are on the right track and you are breaking barriers. Right? Right? Y'all get what you listen. I know y'all understand where I'm coming from, right? Sometimes healing is lonely. Listen, y'all, when I was going through solitude, right? I was going through solitude like a couple of years ago, and I was in solitude for a year. And when I say that was the most loneliest feeling ever, I mean, the only person that you can literally count on is your Heavenly Father because when you're in solitude, He removes everything. I mean, everything. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what's going on tonight, but it's like everything wants to just like die tonight. Let me charge up this laptop. Okay. I have to put that on charger. Listen, we are live, okay? But yes, but He removes everything when it comes to like healing, right? I mean, everything, but it is so rewarding after you go through it, right? And the thing about solitude is that, like, sometimes you just know when it's just time for you to just remove like all the distractions, right? Like I said, sometimes that healing just feel like it feels lonely. Sometimes boundaries feel selfish, right? Sometimes it feels selfish. Sometimes growth feels like grief. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like let's talk about it. Okay. Sometimes growth feels like grief, like for real. Okay. But discomfort isn't always a sign you're doing something wrong, right? Sometimes it's a sign that you're finally doing something different, right? That you're finally aligned with the path of where you're supposed to be going, right? Remember that becoming her, right? So here's a question. Have you ever stayed somewhere longer than you should have simply because it felt familiar? Simply because it felt familiar, right? Like you did not like where you were, but because it felt familiar, you said, you know what? I'm going to stay, right? Have you? Have you? You stayed longer than you should. I'm going to go ahead and put my answer in the chat. I'm going to put my answer in the chat. Because I want y'all to know that you're not doing this by yourself. I'm here with you. All right, there go my answer right there in the chat. All right. Simply because you stayed longer than you should, right? And my next question is, where in your life have you confused comfort with peace? Oh my gosh. Where, write this in your journal. Where in your life have you confused comfort with peace? Where? Where? Okay. Because sometimes we're protecting ourselves from disappointment, right? And a lot of times it's disappointment from our peers. That's what we say. It's disappointment from our peers, but honestly, it's disappointment from ourselves, right? We are protecting ourselves from disappointment. But sometimes you have to pivot, right? Because we are also blocking ourselves from possibility. Listen, we are talking tonight, y'all. I told y'all we gonna be honest. We are gonna be honest tonight. All right. We gonna talk that talk tonight. Okay. Like I said, we are opening up these doors. All right. Because at some point we have to trust ourselves enough to move and not settle because we are comfortable. Right. Remember, I said today we're talking about that gap between knowing and doing, right? Not because we guaranteed success, right? But because we are worthy of the opportunities, of the possibilities. Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Listen, I am like so lit just off that because of the possibilities and the opportunities. Listen, oh my gosh. That was amazing feeling just to say that, right? Because tonight isn't about finding another answer. It's about finding more honesty from in here. All right? Because most of us already know what needs to change. Okay? The challenge isn't the information. Okay? Because you can cut out the information. The challenge isn't the information. The challenge is action. The challenge is courage. The challenge is choosing growth when comfortable is calling your name, right? So as you leave tonight, I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this, sis. The life you want is often waiting on the other side of the decision you have been avoiding, okay? Not a perfect plan, not perfect confidence, just a decision, one step, one conversation, one boundary, one action. Okay? So write this sentence down. Write this sentence down, all right? Write this sentence down. All right? Write this sentence down. All right? I want you guys to write down, what is it that you learned about yourself tonight? What is it that you learned about yourself tonight? Okay? What is it about yourself that you learned tonight? And this is just the beginning, because we go further on this on Wednesdays, right? In our private Dear Me IME group. Okay. We go further into this. Okay. We just on live, right? And keeping it PG for y'all. Okay. Because I said you gotta let that cape down, right? And you gotta let it down with like-minded individuals. Okay. All right. Because this is Dear Me, y'all. This is Dear Me, I am me, okay? And like I always say, the conversation always starts with you. All right? It always starts with you. All right? So I want to say thank you guys for being here. Okay, catching this live. Thank you guys for joining us on this replay. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for sharing, Dear Me, I Am Me, with the next sister, friend, family member, another person that you know who needs to open up, who you know needs to be honest, right? Who needs to hear more real conversations, right? Who also needs to hear real healing, right? So if tonight resonates with you, one thing I want to say, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, right? Join the Dear Me, I Me community for more discussions, especially on Wednesdays, okay? Also, watch the previous workshop replays, okay? Download the Dear Me, I Me worksheet so you guys can follow along with the questions that we put out there, okay? And if you missed tonight's conversation, listen, catch the replay here on Who is Tysheona, and also the behind the scenes on raylewis.com. Okay? Because remember, beauties, the real gap is get honest about what you are holding back. Act even when you are feeling uncomfortable, and persist even when progress feels slow. Okay? Because knowing better can open your eyes. Okay? And closing the gap can change your life. Okay? So I will see you guys on Wednesday inside the Dear Me, I Am Me program as we continue to dive deeper. So, again, I want to say thank you guys for joining us on tonight's live. And until next time, peace, love, and laughs.